Welcome to the Arkansas State Red Wolves Dynasty. Today we begin a rebuild for a program who has not seen much success in the FBS. In years past, dating back to 2019, under Coach Blake Anderson, they were actually competitive, but under current head coach Butch Jones, they have not had a winning record until this season. So the AD has made the choice to move on from the current head coach in Butch Jones and look to us to rebuild this program up despite a winning record here in Butch Jones's fourth season. Upon this change, there are just going to be a lot of things which are going to be moving around here as we take over as interim head coach towards the end of the season. A lot of guys are looking now to transfer to another program after that coaching switch. So at 7-4, we will coach the last couple of games here in 2024 going into 2025. But a lot of work is going to need to be done in order to get this program above like that 8-win, 9-win season. I mean, we are going to have some wiggle room, but it's going to take a true rebuild. The roster is built around a couple of guys that are really good studs, including Jaylen Raynor, the quarterback, who is a sophomore. We will talk a little bit more about him a little later. But a lot of this offensive roster in particular is built around a group of seniors and juniors, starting with Zach Wallace, who leads their team in touchdown rushes in real life. He is more of a power back. And he does form a dynamic duo with Jaquez Cross, who is more of the speed back of the two. Now, Cross is a junior, but he is also looking to probably transfer from the program after this season. Their receiving core is actually not too bad. Malik Hornsby was a transfer from Texas State. He moved over to receiver, and he's one of the highest guys in the game for the Red Wolves. But he is honestly not even contributing that much in real life, I would say, in comparison to what his overall is here. But a lot of juniors and seniors at that receiving position. So we're definitely going to need to recruit there. Manny Stevenson is the leader in the clubhouse at tight end, along with Junior McCrumbie. And both of those guys are pretty similar. So I think one thing that we're just going to have to do is find some guys that are different from what the current team has. Yes, they have a good record right now at 7-4, one of the best seasons in 4 years, actually the best season in 4 years. But you can just see kind of the trend here. A lot of transfers that are upperclassmen and a lot of just senior starters that are graduating. And that's one thing that is going to be the challenge here. Getting players that are of really good caliber to come to Arkansas State in the Sun Belt. And particularly if we're looking at this roster as it is right now and looking at where we are in the standings, we are right there in the middle of the Sun Belt. We aren't the worst team in the Sun Belt, but we also don't have the most depth in the Sun Belt. I look at this roster defensively, more seniors, a lot of senior starters, but there are some gems hidden in here, like Dante Joyner, who is a sophomore, one of the best cornerbacks on the roster, the best overall wise, and then a couple of senior safety starters. Special teams, we do have a senior punter, but we do have a junior kicker and punter that back them up. So we will need to really figure out who we want to build this roster around going into next season. Jaylen Raynor is our quarterback of the now and the future, at least for the next few years, barring he does not transfer, but it doesn't look like he is going to. He's having a decent year this year. I think he's a guy that can really be a focal point for us early in this rebuild. The next guy I want to really focus on is Tennell Bryant. Bryant is interesting because he is technically a sophomore and doesn't get much playing time in real life. But there's one thing that he has that nobody else does: 98 speed, one of the fastest players in all of college football. And I think that he is going to be a fun player to build around, at least for the next 2 years for this receiving core. And like I just mentioned, he has 0 catches in real life, 0 catches here in this dynasty. Looking at defensive tackle, I do like a couple of younger guys that I do want to build this at least defensive front around. The first is Ian Jeffries, a 2-star recruit out of Mississippi. Now, I look at his skills, and he's going to be one of those run-stuffing type of defensive tackles. I think one thing that you can really benefit from in this game is getting a pass rush, good pass rush from the defensive tackle position, a 3 technique who can get out to the quarterback. And I look at Brian Alston, who will probably be paired with who we just saw a second ago. And Alston, looking at his skill caps, he pretty much has 0 of them. I mean, you might as well just be fully uncapped at this point. He's got a lot of room to grow. And that's what I'm going to be looking for in the offseason. Get these defensive linemen developed so that we can develop a good defense to kind of lean on a little bit. I mentioned him before, but Dante Joyner is a sophomore, and he is our best overall cornerback. As a sophomore, this is probably going to be his biggest offseason as far as progression goes going into his junior year, because he's at 80 overall right now, but his skill caps aren't even close to what they could be. So hopefully he can earn some XP and get a lot better. So those 5 key players we are going to build around here in this series as we, like I said, start at the end of the season where we are actually 7-4, and this says 6-4 here, but we do get that 7th win as I believe they just won this past weekend over not Old Dominion, I believe it was UL Monroe. So looking at the sliders here to start this series, we are going to be using some player rating based sliders. I will leave a description in a link in the description for this slider set, and it is the I believe it's called the True Ratings Project on Operation Sports. It definitely favors, if players are good, they will play good. If they are bad, they will play bad. But obviously scheming things up in a way that will put your players in the best position to make plays is definitely going to reign king here in this series. And that's definitely one thing I've learned from my past series is that you need a slider set that's going to be the most fun and also be challenging as well. We take over this team and we will be running the Arkansas State spread offense. We will not change anything for these final 2 games because it's pretty unrealistic to install a new offense taking over for the final couple of games of the season. But we end the season here with the 11th game here, the 12th game I should say, versus Old Dominion, and they are kind of in the middle of the pack here in the Sun Belt Conference along with Arkansas State, so this game could go either way. I want to mention that Arkansas State in real life is undefeated at home, so they have not lost. They are 5-0 at home this season, so hopefully that continues today as we complete the 2024 season in this episode and jumpstart this series all together. So Arkansas State will be in front of this sold out crowd here in Jonesboro. And the question is, will this be one of those rebuilds where we can build off of a good 2024 season, or will we fall into a full-on rebuild? Let's get this series underway with the opening kickoff, and this one will be received by number 89, CJ Cage, a redshirt junior, as he takes it across the 20, and out comes the star of this team, Jaylen Raynor at quarterback, and he does run this spread offense. He does like to run with his legs. The first pass is across the middle. That one is caught by the leading receiver in 2024, Courtney Jackson. He is a senior graduating, so this will be one of the final games of his career. Here is Raynor without running an option. He pitches it, and somehow we do fall on it as Zach Wallace was not looking for the pitch. For some reason, he was looking to block. 3rd and 8 now at the 48-yard line. This time, Raynor throws to the right side. This one's caught, and it will be a first down to Reagan Ely, another senior at receiver. He somehow avoids a tackle. Here's another throw across the middle. This one back to Jackson, and he picks up a first down. Now, Courtney Jackson in real life leads the team in catches, yards, and touchdown receptions as he's having a great senior season. Facing pressure off the left side. Here's a throw down the field looking for who I highlighted earlier, Tennell Bryant, the sophomore speedster. And now here's a bubble screen out to the left side on the 2nd and 10. And now that brings it to a 3rd and 6. Here is a screen pass out to number 21. He gets a block, and Zach Wallace will get the first down to about the 15-yard line, and this long drive continues. We are using the Arkansas State playbook, and it's pretty fun to Watch here as he gets about 10 yards. A lot of different concepts. We have some power read options, some zone read options. Here's an inside zone, this time to Zach Wallace, and he does get stopped before the first down, but it's the last game of the season. We're going to go for this here. 4th and inches, back to Wallace, and he picks up the first inside the 5, and this first drive is still going. 14 plays to this point now. Raynor at the 3. He rolls, throws to the end zone, and this one's caught. But they will not rule this a touchdown. Reagan Ely was the intended target, and the booth just goes and reviews this one. We don't even need to challenge it. And just taking a look, it looks like Ely caught it right here, and he has both feet in bounds. So this will be overruled for the first touchdown of the series. And Arkansas State, 17 plays, 72 yards on that opening drive. So here is Grant Wilson, the starting quarterback here for Old Dominion. He will give it off to number 5, Aaron Young, who breaks the tackle and breaks free. Young across the 50. Nobody will catch him for the touchdown. Well, we said there's a lot of seniors and juniors on this team, and they didn't make a good display right there, put on a good show for you all. 2 broken tackles, even spinning away from one, and just avoids a tackler altogether right there at the end. That was number 33 in the hole. I believe that was Cam Jeffrey, the senior. He couldn't bring him down. So 7-7 just like that. Here is CJ Cage breaking free. Cage across the 50 to the 30. He eventually gets brought down at the 24 after a big return. So the offense now starts out here at about the 24-yard line. Here's a handoff on a 2nd and 6 this time, and Zach Wallace continuing to get the rock. He is the power back in this duo. I really like running between the tackles with them. And here is the backup here, Jaquez Cross, and he picks up a first down on that play. The first quarter is winding down here. Here's another pitch, this time to Jackson, and he cuts upfield, and Courtney Jackson has technically a catch. He has his 3rd on the game so far in the first quarter. And now here's Raynor throwing to the right side. It's Tanel Bryant for the touchdown. His first catch of the season will be a touchdown. I just can't wait to use him. His quickness, 98 speed as well. He's going to be fun to watch, and he barely gets that ball across the plane there. And he makes it a 14-7 game. So here we go now, back on defense, and finally we come up with a stop that time. And now here we go to about the 24-yard line. It's a 3rd and 3. Here is Wilson throwing to left side, and he's got his man for a first down. That is Isaiah Page, the senior receiver. 1st and 10 now, deep throw down the field. That is caught. Justin Hodges, the senior cornerback on the outside, gets beat on that one. And now Old Dominion's driving again. Grant Wilson this time keeps it. He's got space and enough for the first down. Almost breaks free for that touchdown scamper. And now 2nd and goal. This time it's the backup running, actually the starter in. It's Aaron Young who scores for the 2nd time today. And Old Dominion has no problems driving the length of the field today. And it's now a 14-all game. Both offenses have scored on both drives. So can Jaylen Raynor do it again now? Here he is rolling, throwing across the middle. He's got his man, and that is going to be the man who scored earlier, Reagan Ely, in his last final home game here on senior night. 1st and 10 again. Back to the ground game. It's Zach Wallace. He picks up a gain of 4. I think a part of these final games of this season is going to be really learning the Arkansas State playbook. I intend to run it going into next season as well, depending on the offensive coordinator we hire. If it is a spread scheme fit, I think we're going to continue with it. Here is Cross now on the delayed handoff, making a man miss, and he gets to about the 21-yard line for another first down. So our offense looks pretty good. And I like what I'm seeing. Here's a throw to the right side, looking for Tennell Bryant again. And I want to get him some playing time to get him some XP, and Raynor just misses him right there. 3rd and 11 now. They send a blitz from the left side. Here is Raynor trying to scramble for the first down, and he's going to be just short of the first down sticks. We will bring in the field goal kicker, and this one is from about 30 yards out, and it is good by kicker Aiden Ellison, who is a junior. So 3 minutes to go here in this first half as both offenses are really, really explosive so far. Here's a throw into traffic, and that one is caught. And that is Deontay Vines, another senior receiver here for Old Dominion as well. So here we go now, 3rd and 3. Here is Aaron Young again up the middle, and another first down. So let's see what happens now as Wilson, play action fake now, throws the left side. This is going to be Aaron Young. He catches it and breaks a tackle, and he's still on his feet, breaking a few tackles. This defense, and we can see it early, the issue is tackling. We cannot wrap up. We've got to take him down right there. Here's a throw now, and a great one that time by Grant Wilson all the way to the 10-yard line. It's Miles Alston. And one thing you can see early on, we're not getting any pass rush on Wilson. He throws again, this time to Alston, who catches it. And he's going to be just short of the goal line. So they will actually line up for the field goal from the right hash. And the CPU does not make that kick ever. It's no good. 14-17 lead. And we have about under 30 seconds to go the length of the field. But we decide to play it conservatively and go into halftime with a 3-point lead after we get a small win there with that missed field goal, but we'll take it. So here we go in the second half, and our defense really just has to wrap up. Here is Young running the football and another gain of 9. He's only got 4 carries, though, for 96 yards on the day. 3rd and 1, though. Aaron Young gets another carry, and this time he is wrapped up in the backfield by number 29 senior safety Justin Parks. So here is Bryant now back to receive this punt return, and you know he's explosive. He cuts upfield, gets across the 40-yard line, and gets taken down at the 42. But you can just see the potential with his explosiveness. He's going to be a junior next season, so we're going to have him for 2 more years. Here's a throw downfield by Raynor, and he finds his tight end, but another senior in Manny Stevenson Jr. for the first down. Handoff back to Zach Wallace, who fights forward, and this time for a gain of 3. 3rd and 7 now. Here is Raynor throwing, and that one is thrown at the ground. And he had Courtney Jackson. Maybe that was intentional to throw it low, but they're going to let him to go for it here on a 4th and 7. Here is Raynor throwing to the sideline. This one is caught. It's going to be Manny Stevenson again for a first down catch on this drive. 6.5 minutes to go. Here is the longest run of the game so far for the Arkansas State offense, and Jaquez Cross picks up 15 yards. It's now goal to go for this offense. Here is Raynor rolling, looking for somebody to throw it to. He just decides to take off on his own. He's inside the 5, and now it's 3rd and goal. He comes out here empty. Raynor throws to the end zone. It's caught. It's Manny Stevenson for his 3rd catch of the drive. This one goes for 6. And Arkansas State will take the 10-point lead here. It's now Old Dominion, who's had no problems moving the football today, comes back on offense. There's a nice RPO, and that's a catch in at first down. I mean, they have so many ways to hurt you. And those wide splits are actually very, very tough to stop because it spreads your defense out so wide. The running lanes are huge. Here's a throw across the middle once again, and it's Isaiah Page who goes inside the 20. Grant Wilson, who has really been a turnover machine at quarterback this year at times. He's not turned the ball over today. And there's another carry, and Aaron Young will go over 100 yards with that attempt. Now they're inside the 10. Here is Wilson on the option keeper, and he will dive in for the touchdown. And Old Dominion probably should be 4 of 4 with scoring on offense, but they did miss the field goal earlier. But now here we go, up by 3 with possession. It looks like this could be a shootout in the fourth quarter. Play action fake though. Raynor has a man deep. It's Stevenson, and it's almost intercepted. And I think that ball was a little bit underthrown by Raynor. 2nd and 10. The pressure's right there for Raynor. He gets out of the pocket, ends up throwing this one into traffic. It's intercepted. He was looking for Courtney Jackson, who was open on the sideline, but take a look. We threw it right there, but Jackson for some reason cuts in. He could have had a sideline catch, and instead Raynor throws the INT, and now Old Dominion has a short field to go. So now at the end of the third quarter, Old Dominion can take the lead. Here is Wilson now, finally under pressure. He breaks a sack, but then gets brought down by number 1. That's Marcus Bradley, the junior, coming off of the edge. So hopefully some of these juniors stick around and do not transfer. But Noah Collins is the first there, and then Marcus Bradley cleans it up. So now they're at the 39 to start the fourth quarter now. Wilson under pressure, throws across the middle, and he sets his receiver up for a big hit by Justin Parks. And that is a bad throw to get that first down conversion, but Sanchez comes in and knocks it through from 50 plus. And now it is 24 all. So here we are for one more final drive. Here is Wallace. He gets around the edge, and Zach Wallace will get across the 35-yard line, pushed out at about the 38 for his longest run of the day. He's got 12 carries. Jaquez cross checks in now, a little bit of a sweep action, and he makes a man miss and picks up 6 yards. On this final drive, we're going to be looking to use some clock here. Here's a quick RPO out to the right side. That's Stevenson again. Now, one thing I want to emphasize in this series is using the tight end, and you can already see Stevenson's been involved. 3rd and 13 now. It's a screen pass, and Jaquez cross picks up the first down. They did not see that coming. We have not run a screen all day long. Handoff now. It's Cross who cuts upfield inside the 10, and he gets hit at about the 8, and it's 1st and goal as we get this clock all the way down to the 2-minute warning. We snap the ball here. Here's a short throw. It's Tanel Bryant. He scores again. The first 2 catches of the season for Bryant will be touchdowns. I just can't wait to see what he ends up being next season, because as it looks right now, he's either going to be the number 1, 2, or 3 in that depth chart. But how about this? 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. So 2 minutes left here. It's pressure on Wilson. He goes down. This time it's Marcus Bradley getting there first, and then Noah Collins cleans it up. It was the opposite earlier. And the senior and junior tag team for a big sack. And now it is 2nd and very, very long here on this play. Actually, 4th and 21 as Wilson loads up for one final play. And this one knocked away. And Arkansas State will win their final game of the season, 31-24. In our first game as interim head coach before we start this full-on rebuild. I definitely just wanted to get some game action here to see this team in the game in comparison to real life, and I saw a lot of the similarities that this game kind of mimics for this team, actually. Getting after the quarterback. We did get pretty much 2 sacks in this game, and that's kind of the deficiency of Arkansas State in real life. If you look at just the numbers, they don't get after the quarterback very much. I believe their leading sack getter has 5 sacks on the year, and that's kind of what we saw here. But I did want to see what it would be like to play with Tanel Bryant in packages. He wasn't like on the field every play, but when we did get him the ball, especially in the red zone, surprisingly, he was pretty much in man coverage. So that's a recipe for disaster. You get him 98 speed in man coverage, that is a mismatch nightmare. So that's definitely going to be something that we should look out for in the future of this rebuild. So we do end the season at 8-4. We finish off this 2024 season that Arkansas State was having. And I just want to talk about kind of the future of this series and what is to expect here. So we are going to be going into our bowl game next episode, but I definitely want to replenish this team with young high school recruits, and I want to emphasize development here in this series. So as we start to add our first skills to our coach, it's going to be mostly based around development. And I wanted to go after that defensive line first, and I wanted to emphasize putting some points on getting some off-season training boosts, especially with those 2 freshman defensive tackles, which are going to be coming to the starting lineup. One thing we did get, though, in this series, as we did take over before that final game just now, we have some recruits we are inheriting. The only thing is they're not very good. A lot of 1-stars, a couple of 2-stars sprinkled in. So we'll see what they come in as. But in my experience, 1-stars usually come in at low 50s overall at best. I've never seen a 1-star prospect be 60 overall or higher, to be honest with you. So it looks like the game was not doing some very good recruiting for Arkansas State before we took over. But nonetheless, all these recruits will be on our roster next year. So we go into kind of this final game, and these are kind of the end-of-year stats here for Arkansas State in this sim. Jackson ended up with 12 touchdowns, about a few yards short of a 1,000-yard, 10-touchdown season. But Blaine Toll ended up leading this team in sacks on the year with 4.5. So what we saw just a second ago from Bradley along with Noah Collins was pretty unorthodox. They weren't even the leading sack getters this season. But at 8-4, we actually go to the Cure Bowl to play Central Michigan, a very, very disappointing bowl. I was hoping to play a major FBS team to see, kind of where we kind of stack against a really good school, a Power 4 school. But it doesn't look like we're going to get that here in this first season. I will call this season 0. We do have a decision to make, though, as far as our coordinators, and I really want to get some coordinators that embody what I want to do in this series. For Adam Hamilton, our defensive coordinator, I look at him and he does have the master motivator skill tree and the scheme guru. I do want to have a good balance of coordinators and what they bring to the table. And as you can kind of see with us, we don't really have any off-season boosts for any other position except, defensive line. So I decide to get rid of our OC and Saunders and go after a coach in the next week. So we advance on to the conference championship week, and there are a few options to choose from. But like I highlighted earlier, I do want to keep that spread scheme. But I was intrigued by Curtis Singletary here, who has an air raid offensive scheme, and his pipeline is Missouri. So that is very, very a neighboring state, actually, to Arkansas. So looking at him, he has the scheme guru and the master motivator. But I look at George Burdell, who is a recruiter tree unlocked, and he has the scheme guru. I look at his elite recruiter tree that he could potentially get unlocked in short order, and he already has 45 points spent in the recruiter tree. So that tells me that he's given me something I don't have right now, and that's some extra recruiting points. So I do decide to move on with our current offensive coordinator and go after Burdell, and hopefully he will help us in recruiting in this series. So that's going to do it for episode 1. I wanted to give you a little bit of everything: introduction, gameplay, and kind of talk about the future already in season 1 and what we're going to be looking to do in this series. So I hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to be back next episode for the Cure Bowl, and I will talk recruiting also going into the off season as well. So hit subscribe, hit that like button. Hope you guys enjoyed episode 1 of this Arkansas State Red Wolves Dynasty. Stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.